Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and it is time, once again, for Talk O Tuesday. This is my weekly Elite Dangerous show where I pick a Galnet article, read it, talk about it, primarily from a lore perspective, but I will break the fourth wall if necessary. You're not seeing me on the screen today. You're seeing my avatar, and that is because as you probably can hear, I'm fighting a severe upper respiratory infection. And to save you all from the extremely pale and glassy-eyed appearance that I have at the moment, I figured that I'll just torture you with my really unusual audio sounding. So hacking and coughing, I will try my best to get through this. I thought about not doing this episode today and just taking the day off, but it has been an extremely active week in Elite Dangerous, and I think it's very important that I at least get something out and we talk about the most recent article that came out, because I'm wondering, along with the rest of the community, if this is a big sign of what's to come in the update, the new feature that is set to be revealed next week on the 30th during the FU Frontier Unlocked live stream. So we're going to stick with my Bruce Garrido-looking avatar as we go through today's article. Again, I will do my best to not hack and cough my way through it. But before we get started with the article, I do want to say that at the time I'm recording this, Raijin, the Titan, the 7th Titan, has approximately 8 hours of life left. That's at least with the Council of Protecting Humanity, or whatever it's called, tracker. It has been quite a fight. That I've received more combat bonds from that Titan than any other Titan so far, and the health bar on that Titan has gone down very slow, and it is not for a lack of trying. The instances have been well stocked, and Inara and other websites are tracking significant commander activity with that Titan. It just doesn't seem to want to go down. And there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory running out there that potentially it's intentional on Frontier's part to do with what we call plot armor. Plot armor is when you're absolutely either your death is delayed or prevented because your character or whatever location or whatever is necessary for the continuation of a story. And so that's really one of the reasons I wanted to get this article out and talk about it, because I did read a little bit of it. I haven't read the whole thing. Normally I try not to look at this stuff, but in the grand scheme of the fact that we've received about 4 or 5 Galnet articles in the last 10 days is just unprecedented. I don't think I've seen that in the history of this game. I know that when the game first came out, they were throwing out, Galnet articles pretty regularly, but nothing like this. And so let's go ahead and head on to the article. You got Torben Rademacher demands disconnection of Seo Jin-ae. And I'm trying my best to pronounce names, but like I said, I can barely breathe, so bear with me. So we've got Azimuth Biotech's CEO Torben Rademacher has claimed that Seo Jin-ae current medical situation is dangerous for humanity. So there's an article before this where Seo Jin-ae, I'm just going to call her D2, just because we're just called D2, where she has gone she had a grand mal seizure, and so it's really interesting how we're getting so close to the end of the Thargoid War, and then all of a sudden she has this seizure. I thought it was interesting they mentioned it in the article that they called it the tonic-clonic seizure, which is a grand mal seizure, so was kind of interesting they mentioned it that way. Grand mal is kind of the standard medical term for in most places. Last week, Aegis Special Advisor Seo fell into a coma following a violent seizure. Head of Aegis, Alba Tesro, confirmed the identity or the incident shortly afterwards, stating that Seo was receiving the best possible care at an Aegis medical facility. And like I said, she went into a coma, or she's in a coma. She had a seizure, and A lot of the concerns and some of the conspiracy theories that I've seen with this revolve around, um, the humanoids that are captured, the ones that have been captured by the Thargoids. And so if we're running out of time and we're getting to the point where the Titans are on their last leg, what does this mean for the people that have been captured and the people that have been returned to civilization? I believe the Empire still has theirs locked up. I think the Alliance is the one that has released them. It's one of them has released their people. All right, to take a break. Um, I think one. So I wish I had looked. I think it was the Alliance that released their people, their previous Thargoid captives, and so there is some concern that D2's complete lack of consciousness at this point could be, an indicator of something bigger about to occur in regards to the Thargoids, because in Frontier they did mention in a recent Galnet article about being careful about individual Thargoids still alive inside the Titan ruins. So that was really creepy. Following a request for comment, statement by Vox Galactica's Conrad Sterling, Rademacher discussed his views on these latest developments in the Thargoid War and the status of CO. The original whistleblower of this tragic event did everybody a huge favor. No doubt Aegis would have hidden the truth otherwise, as the initiative has done so many times over the years. Yeah, I mean, I don't like any of these guys, Aegis or Azimuth, but here we are. One thing I noticed from Miss Tesro's statement was the lack of any reference to the incredibly high brain activity mentioned by the whistleblower. Yes, that that was really something they did mention, was that even though D2 is in a coma, there's like really high brain activity. And so that lends to the conspiracy idea of potentially, what are we facing on foot Thargoids? Is that going to be our major new feature? And that would be freaking awesome if it was. Surely, if this detail were incorrect, it would have been refuted. Instead, it was ignored. Isn't that strange, Conrad? It's admission by omission, right? We just don't talk about that part. And the more you try not to talk about something, like if you ever tried not eating something, like maybe you have like an obsession with Coke or tea or something or coffee, and like you like decide, you know what, I'm gonna not do this. I'm gonna not drink so much. And then you get to the point where you realize that's all you can think about because you're focusing so much on not thinking about it. It's the same here. If there's something going on with D2 and her brain activity is like really high up there, somebody mentions it in the news, and the news is like, oh, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Well, we want to know who's behind the curtain and why are they back there? What's going on? That kind of stuff. So, yeah. Let's see here. I can only conclude that the link CO possesses to the Thargoid hive mind is active in ways we cannot comprehend. And that is a danger we simply must not permit. I call on Aegis to do the right thing and disconnect Seo Jin-ae from whatever external force has control of her by any means necessary. Now, I think it's curious because looking at the concept of a hive mind, yes, I know that the Thargoids are insect-like race, and they operate in the context of a hive, but they have a really interesting complex structure, because like most ant hives, let's take ants for example. You have ants, you'll have a queen, and then you'll have different soldier. You have basically two categories. You have soldiers and you have drones. And inside the soldiers you'll have specialized, soldiers. And then you'll have in the drones, you'll have specialized drones. And there are some drones that they're called undertakers, and they're dedicated to picking up dead ants over time. And so, there are specialties, but at the end of the day, it's all connected to pretty much one of two different categories. With the Thargoids, there seems to be a lot of individual activity. Yes, I know we call it a hive, and we talk about the Thargoid hive mind, and it is, is D2 being controlled by the hive mind? I'm not sure if she's being controlled, but she's definitely being influenced in a way that's leading her to be incapacitated. But what I'm getting at is that when you look at at a concept of a hive mind, the Thargoids don't really meet the requirement for an overall hive mind. They don't operate. There doesn't seem to be a unified sense among them. There's like these little pockets of Thargoid activity, but for me, I haven't been able to really look at like an overarching hive control, because if you had a hive that had a central goal and it sent 8 Titans into human space, they are kind of spread out in almost random locations. And I think that a hive mind with a dedicated purpose would have probably centralized them or placed them in much more politically, socially, and technologically important locations among the different superpowers. Now, that's not to say that this is just me kind of thinking. I'm trying to think about, when it comes to the hive mind, what is it? And I mean, if you know the answer to this, please do me a favor. If you're listening to this video and you know the answer to this, can someone drop me a link in the comments? Do we know why they picked these star systems? Like, yes, most of these Titans have entered in around ammonia worlds, but why these star systems? Have we figured out exactly why it is that they wanted these locations? No major facilities have been hit that I'm aware of, other than Jameson Memorial in Shinrada Desert, and that was almost like a retaliatory thing. So that wasn't really part of the plan. So it seems like a lot of the places they've been picking are kind of off the beaten path. It's the equivalent of trying to conquer, say New York City, or let's go with the UK example. We're going to conquer London, okay? But we're going to actually start our assault in Berlin, okay? Or we're going to start our assault even in just pick some random small town in the UK or Germany, France, just pick anything in that region. But our goal is London, but we're going to pick just some random place. It's just really odd. And so, I get the fact that there's the kind of the sense of the hive, but it just really feels like, I think what I'm getting at here, and I apologize, this could be my cold medicine talking. It feels like there's more than one, okay? There might be one hive that controls others, but this is not a single hive activity. It really isn't. There's too many varying missions with the Goids to say that there's a single hive controlling this whole thing. I just don't buy it. It's not like you're going to be able to take out, say, the Thargoid Queen and it'd be over. I just don't see that happening. When called for a response, an Aegis spokesperson simply mentioned that Rademaker's comments were characteristically insensitive. The latest update on Seo's condition suggests she is currently stable but remains unconscious. My friends, when she wakes up, all hell is going to break loose. I 100% believe that, and I hope we're ready. I hope that we are ready for whatever comes our way. It's going to be really, really something. Hey, here are the disciples. If you would like to support my channel and my work, patreon.com/Commander Exorcist is the place to go. You get early access to videos, monthly updates, and special behind-the-scenes stuff that no one else gets to see. Maybe my mom. I'll show it to my mom. But hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for struggling through this highly medicated and cold-drenched Taco Tuesday. We have received 4 or 5 Galnet articles in the last 10 days. Raijin is going down, but it's not going down very easily. So things are changing. We are on the cusp of the revelation of a new feature for the game, and we are about to get a new ship, the Mandalay, into general population. It is a crazy time to be in the Elite Galaxy. Do I think that Seo Jin-ae is the Antichrist? I don't know. It would be really surprising if nothing happens with this. I don't think this is just flavor. I think that something is really going on, and we've got to be very careful. We've got to be ready for anything because it's just a matter of time before the last Titan falls. And when it does, this is not over. This isn't over. The Goids are not just going to send all this military power into our star systems and let us pick them away without some kind of plan B. Hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there. Good night, everybody.